What's up, cinephiles? Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we'll be talking about the Swedish drama thriller film Red Dot, directed by Alain Darborg. The movie stars Nanna Blondell and Anastasios Soulis as the couple named Nadia and David. They're trying to rekindle their relationship by going to an excursion somewhere on the snowy mountains of the northern Sweden to witness the northern lights. And during the night, they notice this red dot suddenly materializing in their tent. And it doesn't take a genius to realize that when you see a red dot, someone is aiming for you. So this is a survivalist thriller film. Before we continue with this review, why don't you guys show your support to the channel by hitting the like button and subscribing to us for weekly reviews of movies and TV shows. Now I bring back my cinephile friend, Carlos Laron. Hi!
Hi Kevin, happy to be back.
So this is the perfect anti-Valentine's date film, and we're going to keep it as non-spoiler as we can because, man, this movie is unexpected. But Carlos, let me know first, what do you think about this movie?
Yes, you recommended this to me a few days ago and I thought it was very unnerving. Honestly, I think that it's best to go in blindly because if I had seen the trailer first before actually watching the film, I would have had a totally different experience and would have given me various ideas already, so my headspace would be a lot different. Yeah, I'm thankful that I didn't watch the trailer. It left me clenching my fists at the end because it goes into an unpredictable route. Even though there's many twists and turns there, I still somehow managed to experience the thrill of it all and unpredictability of it. Like I said, it doesn't take a genius to realize that this is not gonna be a full-on drama but a survivalist thriller. It reminded me of It Comes at Night and Ritual, also from Netflix, and the snowy setting reminded me of other horror films like The Grey and The Revenant. This film relies on the desolate, chilly setting to provide that intense vibe, and it successfully covers that. Yeah,
I decided to cover this movie because I think this will be a hit. Netflix is another home for minimalist horror thrillers, and this is perfectly one of those. And just by judging from the trailer and from how the movie played out, the setup of this movie is pretty similar to some of the horror thrillers. A couple goes on a vacation, they want to break away, and things go wrong. I think those are the genre cliches, but I think you need them. I think the filmmaker executed them well to lull the viewers in. And then in the final 30 minutes, it turns out to be something different. I will first take on the technical aspects of this movie. Cinematography, editing, sound design. Those three are essential in building this horror. We have here a setting that's an eye candy, but though personally I am not into the winter type of setting. If we're talking about ideal vacations, I'm more of a tropical person, but it's still pleasing to the eyes. And the way they have framed this in building the suspense and the sound design, I think it's also paramount. A lot of people tend to overlook that because if the sound design falls flat, this movie would have flunked for me. And the performances, obviously I don't know any of these people, but they did a great job, everyone else. The two main actors here, Anastasios Soulis and then Nanna Blondell, in translating their emotions of fear and guilt and confusion. Other than your typical thriller film, this movie also goes into the internal conflicts of what a person will feel like when put into this scenario. Most thriller films, they're only focused on the physical aspect of it, if you get what I'm saying. So this one also needed some acting chops here, which they delivered, and also for the rest of the cast, which I will not divulge their identity.
so it starts off as a pretty conventional and decent drama, right? Almost treading on cheesy romance actually. We get to learn how these two characters, Nadia and David, started out. He proposed to her and cut to the present time where they seem to be already outgrowing each other in just a year and a half's time. Then David invites her to go camping for the weekend, and then something happens in the story that just completely turns itself around. without giving anything away. Like, we are trying hard not to. My jaw dropped and I sat in silence. You know, I couldn't believe that they went for it. They had that storyline to subvert viewers' expectations, which I think was kind of well earned. It left me feeling some type of way.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure you did too, Kevin. And I want to be objective about it. Sure, the cat and mouse chase was suspenseful and stressful and somehow a bit entertaining. But the twist, it allowed us viewers to get more into the vulnerability of these characters. We learned more about them, and as twisted as it was, it feels, I don't want to say it, but it feels satisfying, and it just had me in a whirlwind of emotions. Up and down, up and down. If that was the intent, then I gave in.
So on set we have here characters. Their relationship, I would say, is pretty much relatable. And then the final 30 minutes, there's an exposition dump here to make us realize why these things are happening to them, to get more context behind their relationship. And I think it's quite genius how the movie makes you give mixed emotions about the protagonist of this movie, and then by the end you come to realize that this movie has no villains nor heroes, if you get what I mean. This movie is more of a psychological drama of showing the worst in people when they're trapped in this kind of scenarios, when people get overcome by desire. This movie will get polarizing results, and I'm sure of it. And I'm trying to think if I can spin this movie on a more positive note, because this movie, it's dark and unexpected. I'm going to throw some nugget of wisdom here. Those who haven't seen it won't be spoiled, but you know, for those who have seen it, I hope you will get me. This is something that I've thought on hindsight about the culture of moving on. Sometimes you need to think of the consequences of the things that you've done. This movie made me realize that, and also the scenario that things can always get worse. But in terms of narrative structure, you know, normally when it comes to those thriller horror genre, we have here characters who do a lot of dumb decisions. This movie is no different. I think the characters could have been more resourceful, could have been more smart in some situations, but given that I haven't really went on a hiking to the snowy mountains, personally I don't think there's nothing that I could have done more. When I watch a movie that if this character keeps on making dumb decisions, then I'm out. I'm gonna hate this movie. These are not real rational persons, but the movie does not over exceed that. When it comes to not holding back, I love that they do not hold back, but they do not overuse the gore aspect of it. There's still some gore, just not to make the movie stale, but it's not overused. So yeah.
Yeah, sure. I agree that this was a psychological thriller at its core. Even though it was a drama at some point, this film is not about morality, what's good or evil, but it's more showing the ugly side that us humans are truly capable of, even if we don't want to admit it. The film lends itself to be a psychological thriller because, to me personally, even though the suspense of the chase was highly entertaining, plus there's bits of gore and violence, to me it's watching these characters unravel by the end. I found that to be truly horrifying. You know, seeing them make all these bad decisions, I was caught up thinking, wow, if I put myself in their shoes, what would I have done differently, or would I probably have done the same thing? That to me is human nature. To see that reflected in film is welcome because it is realistic. We are all only human. We all make mistakes. Sometimes we really make big mistakes. Sometimes they are irreversible. The film shows strongly of that facet in humanity. So yeah.
Okay, so overall, this movie, I think it's a bridge the genre for me, but not in a cheap way. Maybe you can see this movie as a cautionary tale, but I can really understand if a lot of people will be put off by this. I have to give credit for this movie and try to separate my feelings. I think this movie would not work if they told it in a linear fashion. Narrative-wise, I think they did it good. There are just some dumb character decisions along the way that I can shake off. So I'm going to give this movie a 3.5 out of 5 stars.
Wow, 3.5. Okay. The drama played itself well, and the thriller aspect of this film was done in a way that it's not so violent. The suspense has the right amount of the chase, the mystery of it all. The core of it as a psychological thriller, I thought that showing the ugly side of us humans, they all felt earned, and even though a lot of people would be so polarized with this movie, I still think that it was a decent thriller. This, to me, is a 3 out of 5. Pretty solid, and I would definitely watch it again.
Okay, and that's it for our review of Red Dot, a Swedish drama thriller film. Let us know what you think in the comments sections down below. Also, if you enjoyed watching this video, hit that like button and subscribe to us for weekly content. Carlos, thank you once again for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Until then, see you on the next
Bye,
one.
guys.